What's up, y'all? Uh-oh. Andy, no. Dude, chill. Here, take the lady. Oh, hey, sweetie. They're so girthy.
What's up, guys? Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
What's up?
Welcome to our first video.
Deuces.
So in this video, we're going to be talking about our journey with chickens so far. Specifically what we've learned from raising these guys from day 2 when we got them as baby chicks until now at about 7 months old. And so we first got chickens in July of 2020. It was like a kind of on a whim decision. We just decided to order some from Murray McMurray Hatchery, which is where we've gotten all of our chickens. They came in July. We got 6 or 7.
Yeah, 7.
7. All different breeds, and raised them starting in our house from baby chicks until they were adults. They were laying eggs. We had them in a chicken tractor in the yard, and yeah, they were awesome. They were really sweet. About a year later, we bought an incubator and hatched our first baby chicks, hatched our first eggs from our own eggs, and that was a lot of fun. We ended up hatching out like 6 chicks.
Yep. 6 out of 16, which was worse than we wanted it to be, but you know, first try.
Yeah. And those slowly died for different reasons. We had a hawk get one like died in like a hurricane that came through, so we had 2 left, along with the rest of our other adult chickens that we had from our first round of chicks. And so we decided this past year that we wanted to expand our operation even more, and we ordered 50 baby chicks from Murray McMurray Hatchery that got here in August of 2022. So just a few months ago.
We got 8 ladies of each breed. So we got 1 rooster, 8 ladies, 5 breeds.
All of our roosters have names from The Office. It's my all-time favorite show.
He's Todd Packer. He's got more brown on his wings than the other Red Star, and that's because Todd Packer poops in Michael's office.
Yep.
Anybody?
If anybody remembers that episode.
We got Bielefelder. We say it wrong, but it's this big boy right here.
What color eggs do the Bielefelders lay?
They're brown.
Brown.
We wanted a darker brown, but the hatchery with the avian flu and everything ended up not being able to give us Morans or Welsumers originally, and now we had to settle for those dudes, but
they're great.
Yeah, they're
they
great.
Honestly, we really like them.
This is one hen.
Yeah, they let us pick them up way easier than any of the other hens,
Yeah,
and
she's
their
sweet.
roosters are super chill. We haven't had any issues with them.
And then we have Americanas for the blue eggs. Got Leghorn, white Leghorn for white eggs. We got Red Stars for brown eggs and their production, because they're hybrids. They're really good layers. And then we got Whitting True Greens, which that rooster's our meanest boy, but they lay a really pretty green egg.
So we started them out in the shed. We had a brooder set up in there for all of them with some wood shavings and, you know, food, water. What are the things called that we use, the heat things?
Just
Like a heating plate.
Yeah.
We don't use
Not
heat
the
lamps.
Not the lights.
We use like these heating plate things. And they were there, I don't know, they were in there for...
We kept them too long,
Yeah.
as you always do, but a month and a half probably.
Probably like 6 weeks-ish,
Yeah,
6 or
inside
7 weeks. They were in the shed.
It got terrible. They started flying out.
And during that time, we lost a couple, which is kind of statistically to be expected. If you're raising 50 baby chicks, you're probably going to lose a few. So
Yeah.
I want to say we lost about 4.
4 out of
4.
50.
We had some with like pasty butt, which is where their poop basically like cakes over their butthole. and they can't poop. It's really gross, but it's really sad.
None of them died of that, though.
Right.
We were on top of that.
Right.
But
So we were able to take care of that.
mostly
and then,
the weak ones, the small ones, just kind of, passed. And then other than that, it went pretty well inside the brooder.
Now, while they were in the shed, we still had our, what did we have, like 8 chickens at that point? 8 adult chickens outside. We had lost a few to predators here and there over the last couple years. We had 8 left outside, and one Sunday morning before church, Michael went out to feed the chickens and found most of them dead. It was very sad because those chickens kind of marked the beginning of our homesteading journey. We loved those chickens. They all had names, of course, because it was a pretty small flock. And yeah, we loved those chickens. And basically they all died except, well, that day at least, they all died except for our rooster, Topher, Cho, who was one of the baby chicks that we had hatched out the year prior, and Delilah was the last one who, she ended up dying the next day, we think either from shock or internal injuries. We took her inside and we're trying to feed her and give her water, and she ended up dying the next day. So we're not totally sure what caused that, but something obviously related to the predator attack. We lost 6 of our chickens in 2 days, which was the most that we had ever lost before. Again, because we only had a few. That was awful. That was really, really sad. So then we built this metal enclosure to finally move the chicks out of the shed outside because they were still too small for the Premier One netting that we have, because they can easily like slip through the netting.
They don't have the shocker knot anymore. I don't know if they're not producing it or because that one had a smaller holes at the bottom, so you could put chicks in that, but I don't know if it's gone for good or back ordered or what, but we couldn't get in that, so we got this enclosure type deal for those juvenile pullets, that kind of age range, and it worked well. It's like probably like an 8 by 12, and then by 6 tall, so you could walk in it. It was really nice. And then we just put our chickshaw inside of it. And so we kind of trained them to the chickshaw, but they didn't have a whole lot of other area to roam around in. So we're trying to get out of that metal enclosure as quickly as possible.
While they were in the metal enclosure, we ended up moving so we have had our chickens fertilize our garden plot for the last 2 years. So the first year we had a space where the chickens were, and then we ended up making that our garden. And then we expanded the space, put the chickens there, and that was another extension of our garden. So we put them in the metal enclosure in the garden space where our previous flock of chickens had been the year prior. We had heard about coccidiosis, which is a parasite that chickens can get really sick from and die from, but we didn't really know much about it. And after doing some research, we learned each flock of chickens has their own unique strain of the parasite. And so if you mix 2 flocks of chickens, they can get the parasite from each other's poop. Basically, one day we had a chicken that got sick, and we didn't really know why, but she died within a day of us noticing that she was sick.
She was a runt, so we were like, okay, maybe she just died off because she was small, didn't get the food, that type of thing. Next day, though,
the next day,
down for the count.
Michael was at work, and I went out there, and there was at least one dead in there. There was one dead. Multiple looked terrible. Like, they were all hunched over. They all looked just really dirty. It had been raining a lot. It was really muddy. It was just not a good situation. They were like, this is like gross, but they were like, had like white diarrhea
everywhere,
just like spewing out of their butts. Gross. It was so bad. So I call Michael.
Yeah.
He's at work, and I'm like, and once again, like, we had just a couple weeks prior lost six of our like cherished chickens. I had never really had to deal with that before. Like, then I come out there and they're all sick, and to be honest, I felt like such a failure. I felt like we were the worst, like, chicken owners in the world. I'm like, we must be doing something wrong because we're losing so many chickens, and it was awful. So I call him having like a breakdown, and I was supposed to have an interview that morning to be a substitute teacher with a principal, and I had to like call and cancel and like deal with the situation at hand. He ended up coming home from work early, and we got some chickens separated that looked really, really bad, which those ended up dying. There was like 3 or 4 that died from this.
Yeah.
Maybe closer to like 6, I'm not sure, but quite a few died from the coccidiosis, and which that was a diagnosis that we sort of
6, yeah.
came up with from
white diarrhea,
what we had researched.
the symptoms, the death quickly,
and then just the fact that they had been in an area that was full of other chickens' poop from our previous flock, and also they were close to our other 2 adult chickens, Topher and Cho, at the time, so that could have also, there could have been some like cross-contamination, which like we didn't know. We just didn't know.
It rained for
We're
a few
still
days
learning
in
a
row
lot.
too, and poop and water combined just doesn't breed anything good. And
Yeah, it was so
I don't
gross.
think it did any good for them. They're struggling.
Yeah. So we had to clean everything. What was the medicine that we got?
Oh, it wasn't.
We'll
that.
figure it out, and I'll put it on the screen here when
Yeah.
I'm editing, so that we can tell you guys, because I don't remember.
There was 1 bottle left in our feed
Oh,
store
yes.
up here. You gotta clean everything first, like really well, to make sure there's no contamination.
Yeah, I scrubbed their feed and water containers, and we sprayed down their coop and sprayed out everything. We completely moved them from the area that they were in to a new area with fresh grass, and it was a stressful day, but we got it all figured out. And so that happened.
Yeah.
Then, not too long after that, that's when Cho got attacked.
Yeah,
was not
raccoon.
too long after that. So, yeah, we have 2 guinea hens, or we did have 2 guinea hens that we rescued from a family that I babysat for. They had a lot of guinea hens, and then they slowly were getting picked off by predators, and so they asked if we would rescue the last 2 and integrate them into our chicken flock, and they integrated really well. But anyways, if you guys don't know about guinea hens, they are kind of known as like nature's alarm systems. If anything is off, they will make a bunch of noise. It's loud, and they will alert you when something is actually wrong, but they'll also alert you when like literally nothing is wrong and it's just like a leaf fell or something. Yep. But we had some friends over, we were about to watch a movie, and Michael heard our guinea hen, it was like 8 p.m. probably, making a lot of noise. And he decided to go out and check and see what was going on. And turns out there was a raccoon that had gotten in our chicken pen and had attacked our last remaining adult hen, Cho. And thankfully we scared it away, and it ran up a tree, and Michael shot it. But Cho was pretty badly injured. She had a pretty big gash under her wing on her side, and then on her back, sort of between her wings. So for, I don't know, probably close to a week, for probably 4 or 5 days, I slept on the couch and took care of her, woke up during the night to like watch her, like make sure her bandages were still on and that kind of thing. Our friends that night were so sweet to like help you take care of the raccoon and help us like clean her wounds and all of that. She survived, everything was great. Unfortunately, like kind of soon after that, we found a pile of feathers like outside the fence, and we think something got her. We think she flew out and something got her outside the fence.
Disappeared. Yeah, no body or anything.
So that was super sad, which makes Topher, our white Cochin rooster, our last remaining chicken from our very original flock that we got in 2020. One of our guinea hens mysteriously disappeared around that same time, so we just have the 1 guinea hen left and Topher, and then we're down to 40 out of the 50 baby chicks that we originally got in August. So, oop, rooster fight.
Oh, Daryl's got pounded. D'Angelo's coming in. Oh gosh, Daryl. Oh buddy.
So right before Christmas, we had a huge freeze. So we live near Boone, North Carolina, in the mountains, and there was a ginormous like winter storm that came through right before Christmas, and it was like negative 27 at one point.
Yeah.
I want to say like
Yeah.
negative temps, wind
Freezing.
chill was crazy. It was very, very cold, the coldest that we've ever experienced. And our roosters are fighting inside the coop right now. So, there was a poor hen, I think, trying to lay an egg.
Ruckus.
She's like, I'm getting out of here. So anyways, that was crazy. A couple of our roosters got frostbite. Both of our Red Star roosters ended up losing a couple like points on their comb.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just so cold. Like, there was not really much we could do. We tried to like buffer their coop with some hay and some cardboard and that kind of thing, and make sure their water and food was like right next to their coop, so they just were able to come out and go back in. But it was just really, really cold. That's most of it. Hi, baby. Hi. They started laying in January when they were about 5 months, and we are starting to sell our eggs just locally to friends and family, and we've already sold a few cartons and planning on kind of expanding that business a little bit more. And we also moved the chickens and gave them a really cool space with our creek and just a lot of grass area, and they love it, and it's kind of like a little haven for them up here. That's where we're at right now with our chickens. They're 7 months old. We're selling eggs, and hopefully further projects this year are going to be selling baby chicks, breeding. We are actually selling 2 of our chickens to some friends of ours who already have a couple and just want to expand their flock. And so it's just a lot of fun to help other people expand their homestead, and that's definitely a dream of ours, is to be able to like provide baby chicks and other things to be able to expand people's homesteads and that kind of thing. So
Yep.
I think that's it. That's our journey of raising baby chicks from 2 days old to 7 months old and everything in between. Thanks for watching our video, and like and subscribe if you want.